Hello, this is Unson with GameLeap, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to master your first clear on Talon. So when you play Talon, there are a couple things to remember. Talon is an early game powerhouse, and 90% of your games are going to be taking Ignite Smite, right? Normally you don't run Flash on this champion because he has enough mobility. It's really sticky, and once he gets onto you, you're basically going to die. You generally want to run Ignite Smite. Don't take Flash on this champion unless you're new to him. If you're new to him, it's perfectly okay to take Flash. It's a little bit hard to play him if you don't know how, but otherwise you're going to want to run Ignite Smite in like 99% of your games. So when you play Talon, there's basically two things that you can do. If you have a good leash, I would recommend actually starting your W because you're able to get a bleed proc really fast. Otherwise, if you are going to be going leashless like I am here, start your Q. When you play Talon, it's really important to remember that your Q is really strong if you do use it properly. So in the majority of times during your clear, you're going to want to actually use your melee range Q. If you use your Q from range, it's actually going to have a little bit of a different interaction, right? If you use it from range, it's going to do a leap that does less damage. If you use it in melee range, it's going to do a stab. This is a little bit more damage. As you can see there, we don't waste any autos on the small jungle monsters, and this is because the burn that is applied from our Ember Knife is going to actually clean them up for us. All we're going to do is kite our camps like so and just get as much damage onto them as possible while trying to maintain a little bit of a HP pull, right? Talon's first clear isn't actually this rough. It's really nice to do. If you're leashless though, this kind of changes a lot of things because Talon isn't really a champion that's designed to be playing the game without a leash. As you can see, it's 254. We're already ready to fight in the river. If we want to go for a gank top or mid before crab spawns, we could do that, or we could just do a little bit of a farm clear here and end up doing our grump. As you can see, that's a little dash, that's a little jump Q. There's a little bit less damage, so it does actually slow down your clear. If you do end up doing grump, I would actually do grump before you do crab and then save your smite for crab. You normally don't have to use your smite at all when you do receive a decent leash. So unlike me, you don't actually need to smite the blue buff. Instead, you would end up smiting your grump or not smiting at all and just saving it for scuttle crab. So once we do our clear here, which is going to be red, raptors, wolves, blue, grump, plus scuttle crab, we do end up hitting level 4. This is really important for Talon as he is a champion that does require levels before he gets rolling, right? You win the initial skirmish at level 3 really hard, you win at level 4 really hard, and then you win again really hard at level 6. Alternatively, the other clear that you could do is actually going to be the inverse, right? So we cleared from our bot side to our top side. We did red, we did raptors, we made sure that we use 2 W's on the small raptors and that we don't touch them at all. We use our melee range Q, proc our bleed as much as possible, and basically just let the burn kill the small raptors. When we do our wolves, we do basically the same thing. We use 2 W's on them and then we auto attack them one time as we're going to our blue. When you start on blue side, this is a largely single target start, which means that all you want to do is save all of your damage, right? You could start your W if you're receiving the leash. This makes your first clear really fast because you're able to get your bleed proc really early and you're able to get moving. If you're doing it solo though, I do recommend starting Q because you do get a whole bunch of damage in there. You're not going to get 2 bleed procs, unfortunately, if you end up starting your W. So as you can see, when you clear this side, it's a lot faster. It's really easy, even though we are, you know, of course not level 1. This is a really fast clear that's really healthy. You're not taking much damage here at all. If you make sure that you do your grump and either A, smite it, or B, just, you know, play really slowly and wait out the enrage and really kite the auto attacks, you're not going to be taking any damage at all and you're going to be really healthy. So I do recommend if you're starting on bot side that you do a triple clear, right? You do want to end up doing blue into grump and then wolves. You'll hit your level 3. You do your raptors as you walk by, you do your red buff, and then you go contest scuttle crab. You basically just do the inverse of our clear here, which is going to be red into raptors into wolves, blue grump, right? When you're playing Talon, it's really important to remember that you don't want to be wasting any unnecessary auto attacks, right? You don't want to be throwing out auto attacks unnecessarily because your rake does do a whole bunch of damage when paired with the burn from Ember Knife or from Hellblade, whichever you choose. I generally recommend going Ember Knife on Talon because you are going to be auto attacking people. Your Q range and smite range are pretty similar. Your Q's range is just a tiny bit shorter than smite's range, but Talon does have the luxury of having a no cooldown gap closer that allows you to come over just about any wall and really get into people's faces, right? So mobility is not really a big issue on this champion. When you are playing Talon, really important to take Ignite Smite. If you are a veteran Talon player, once you have, you know, 2 or 3 games on the champion, swap to Ignite Smite. Take basically every fight that you can. Focus on proccing your bleed on basically any target that you get in the game, right? You think in rules of 3, right? You're constantly counting to 3. 2 plus 1, 2 passes from rank, plus 1 on your Noxian Diplomacy means that you get an instant bleed proc. This is really, really strong. The same thing with your 6. Your ulti actually hits twice, which is really, really important because you're able to still follow that rule of 3, right? So let's say that we ulti, we Q, and then we auto again. You see that we instantly get our bleed. We can throw out our rake, and then when their Q is back up, we are able to proc the bleed again. This is your standard Talon combo, right? If you have a really good gank on this champion, it's basically going to look something like this. Come over a wall, R, auto Q, auto again. Once again, you have 2 stacks here, and then you're able to really bring the hurt, right? You get 2 procs to your passive in the same fight. It's really, really strong, super, super oppressive when you play Talon correctly. So on your first clear, you want to make sure that you are not wasting any auto attacks, that you're taking Ignite Smite, and that you're contesting that first crab. It's really, really important. Talon's clear is actually really fast. It's not one of the absolute fastest in the game, but it's pretty up there, meaning that you can fight just about every single meta jungler at that first crab, or at least get a gank off to really get you rolling, right? Once you get a lead on this champion, it's basically impossible to stop him. He's just far too strong and way too good at what he does. So as long as you remember these things to really speed up your clear, you want to think in 3s, right? 2 passes of rake, 1 Q, bleed stack, our first hit, Q, our second hit, bleed stack. Then you once again just keep thinking in this rule of 3. You'll have great success on this champion. I promise you, you will be tearing up games very, very fast because this champion is incredibly strong right now. When you're playing Talon, you have a lot of flexibility with what you can do, actually. This is something that's really important that I don't see enough Talon players making use of right now. When you're playing Talon, especially in the jungle, it's best to take the road less traveled on this champion. Let's say that you're trying to gank your top laner, right? The enemy top has their wave pushed up exactly here to this position. Where are they going to ward? They're going to ward this over warding this, right? So what should you be doing to counter that? You know that there's going to be a ward here. You're just finishing up Scuttle Crab. Where do you go? Well, it's really easy, actually. Instead of actually going that path, you just go around it. You E over them. You wait until you're in position. Make sure there's no minions coming, and then you jump over this wall. Congratulations, you have your Talon gank. Really, really free, super, super simple. Making use of these flanks is really going to spice up your early game and get you a whole bunch of kills, especially when you have Ignite Smite. You're going to be blowing summoner spells left and right and getting kills left and right. It's going to be so, so easy for you if you just remember these little rules that we talked about, right? Road less traveled, rule of 3, no wasted auto attacks, and run Ignite Smite. Anyways, this is Unsung with Game Leap. I hope that you all learned a thing or two from this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day.